Yeah, and with governance, I think it's something that a lot of folks, especially in the lower to mid market, might just think are unnecessary. They might argue that purely the size of the acquisitions really shapes how formalized these integrations might actually need to be. So, do you see any examples where integration management offices, as an example, might not need to be established or can be less daunting than some people might think?
So you can do without an IMO if there's going to be no integration. If it's buy and hold, then you don't need to integrate. I worked at an organization where they had 4 acquisitions, and they sat on those 4 acquisitions for 5 years. There was no intent to integrate, therefore there was no IMO. And then 5 years later, they spun off each one of those, and that was the plan. Now, if you're going to integrate, even if you're going to integrate just back office functions, and those are key to realizing synergies. Too often, you think, well, we will only make money when we spin it off. No, in essence, you can do that, start capitalizing and capturing some of the gains by realizing those synergies by integrating back office functions such as HR, payroll, finance, accounts payable and receivable, and vendor management, your corporate and enterprise licenses. You can start doing that. Your corporate real estate comes in that. Just imagine how much money is spent on photocopiers and printers in each office, right? If you start doing that just for back office, nobody needs to know that we are integrated or what we are on the outside. But in the back, we have one vendor who is providing us with all our photocopiers and toners and paper. Just that alone can be, for some organizations, can be up to $3 million a year synergy. So synergies are important to capture. Therefore, IMO can be or cannot be there. It just depends on what is the long-term view and plan. Now, if you decide to go with an IMO in a smaller organization, again, like I mentioned in my previous response, you can remove many of the layers. But the key is, if you're going to keep an IMO needs to be utilized, and utilized is the key word here. It needs to be utilized as an organization that's going to help with training of your internal resources, that's going to help with nurturing talent in-house, and that's going to help with knowledge transfer, because the IMO won't be there the whole time. So at some point, whenever IMO pulls back, you need that knowledge transfer. You need people with understanding of those processes, with those templates, with those cadences, with the structures, how to carry this on. Because although an integration may be wrapped up in 6 months, it continues in the background for a year or 2, depending on the cycle. So therefore, it is important to have an IMO in some form or the other, because IMO brings, I consider IMO as a PMO, a program or project management office. And that's exactly what IMO does. A PMO never goes obsolete. And this is why IMO continues to flourish also.